little bit of instructions on the back, talks a little bit about the cartomizers that come and the different cartridges that are there and everything that's in the box. Little design of the pen, looks really nice. Pull the tab and this slides open and you've got a user guide that I'll go over in a minute. Comes with this little picture here, and then you flip this up and you see everything that it comes with. So this is your pen. Get that better under the screen there. Now that lights up. Oh, let me unlock it here so you see that this lights up as you're trying to use it, and then this is what you load. This is the dry herb attachment and it just clicks right in. It's held through magnets. This is your wax attachment that has a coil in the bottom, and then this is a liquid attachment that has a cartomizer that you put your e-cig liquid into. Comes with your plug-in, and it's a magnet, so this just clicks right into the bottom and you just drop it in and that'll click right into place with ease. You just pull it right off. It's one of the best setups we found for charging of all of the vaporizers and vape pens that we've tested. And then, nope, that's all that comes in the box. Then you've got your power cord right here, and then this is just USB into the back of the power cord, just like a standard one. So that's everything that comes inside of the box with the QuickDraw. And this user guide is pretty awesome. You open it up, it actually has description of everything that comes, or how the pen works. It talks use, care instructions, unlocking instructions, charging instructions, and then the specific types of attachments and how they're used. So that's one area that a lot of vape pens fail, is that they don't give you any instructions, and so it's really cool that these actually provide something clear. So that's everything that comes in the QuickDraw, and we'll move on to the actual test now. All right, so now we're chilling here. I've got everything unpacked. We showed you everything that was in the box, and now it's time to test this thing. So here's the unit without anything in it, and as we explained before, everything's held on by magnets. You're given 3 cartridges. You've got one here that is a cartomizer for e-juice. Now, we didn't get to test this one because, well, I'm not a vapor. I used an e-cig to quit smoking a couple of years back, and I didn't want to use this if I couldn't come across a THC-infused e-cig juice, and, well, they're just not really available in my area right now. I'll do my best to get back to you with some results on this in a follow-up. Comes with a wax or concentrates cartridge, which the bottom unscrews, and it's got a nice coil, and we'll go into that in a second. And then it also comes with a dry herb chamber here. Now, they all just slide right in, drops right in. There's this little notch right here, there's this little notch right there. So when you drop it in, if it's not in there, you just turn it and it drops right in. Now, what was cool about this piece is that the sensor in here is a smart sensor, so it can tell which of these you have dropped in there, and it automatically adjusts the heat. That was a good thing and a bad thing, and we'll talk about that. There's some pros and cons when it comes to this pen. So we've done the unpacking, we've shown you everything, so I'm just going to jump right into the test here. I'm going to start with the dry herb attachment, because when you jump on Vape World's website, they have the 300 listed with it, which is the dry herb attachment only. And it's $100, and then listed underneath that it has all of the things for the DLX, which is what they sent us for testing, but there's no actual price for that. So since the 300 is what you see, that's what we're starting with. Now, pre-ground some herb here, and oh, hang on. They provide you with this nice little scooper, and while the scooper itself isn't worth it to really try to put anything in here, it's nice to get it tamped down. Now, when you read in the instructions, the dry herb attachment heats up to about 300, and somewhere between 390, I think, and 420. Unfortunately, it gets just a hair too hot. It gives you some nice little clouds, and you inhale this nice fresh smoke on the first hit for sure. It's nice and flavorful, but then when it comes to your second hit, it just, I don't know, you start getting popcorny really fast because it's kind of warm. Now, of the vape pens that I've tested, this is my favorite, and this is my go-to. This is the one that I keep with me. All right, so to start this, once you've turned it on, 3 clicks turns on the pen. You click and hold until the red light on the bottom comes on. Now, You can see it's all lit up there, and this goes through its stages, and it heats very quickly. As you're going to see, it's about 45 to 60 seconds. It starts with red, and then it'll switch to an amber or an orange color, and then it goes to green, and when it's green, it's ready to hit. And there's the amber. Now, holding it straight up and down while it's heating, and especially when you're hitting, allows for the heating unit to be even, so you don't have to stir it. If you hold it sideways like I just was, then it will heat halfway, and you might have to do a stir, or it doesn't heat fully. So it's been green for a little bit, so nice little cloud, but it was more vapor than anything because you're not getting any smoke. It doesn't actually burn this, and as you'll see when I empty it out, it's everything is browned. It's not blackened. You didn't burn anything. And this goes for a full 2 minutes. Now, what's neat about this unit is that, oh, and as you see, as you hit it, you get bigger and bigger clouds. What's neat about the unit is that there's no fan, so it's not a convection unit. You have to actually suck through it to get the smoke out. So while we're talking, I'm not losing any of my smoke because there's no fan actually blowing it out. But it can get stale, so you don't want to let it sit there for too long. So the herb that I'm using for this is a fairly good quality herb, so there was a lot of crystals, so I usually get 2 full heatings out of this. So you might only get 1 if maybe it's not the best quality of herb. You might get more if it's even better quality herb. It's up to you. You'll know it starts tasting almost like burnt popcorn when it's done. Your smoke will start to diminish a little bit as well. And see, now it's flashed, and the first 2 minutes is done. And what you're going to notice is that after 2 minutes, that's warm. And that's not fun to put your lips on. And that's right at where your mouthpiece is. And this is the biggest flaw in this unit. We've tested other ones where the heating unit is at the bottom, so your mouthpiece is up here and you don't get this problem. But as I'm going into my second heat to be able to completely finish off this bowl and not actually waste anything, this gets even warmer, and it's been unfortunate, but I've actually burned my lips not paying attention, talking to somebody, and I talk with my hands a lot, and I put it up to my mouth, and I put it in just a hair too far, and I hit this metal rim here, and, well, it burns. So that's the dry herb attachment, and that's the 300, and that's what you get for $100. Now, when it comes to what it's doing for my lungs, this is $100 well spent. Now, I didn't actually spend the $100 myself for this pen because we did a test and review, but I would gladly spend $100 on this. It works very, very well. Some people might prefer a lower temp for their vape, but I definitely dug this. Now, setting that aside for it to cool, that's the other major flaw to this thing, is that you can't immediately reload it and have another bowl. You have to let that cool before you can actually get your get the browned material out. That's got to go away because we're not using that. But now we'll go into testing this. So this is the chamber for the wax or concentrates. You unscrew the bottom. This is really one of the few spots that actually has anything to do with screwing when it comes to this thing. Everything's really done by magnets, but this one has a screw component. You pull the cover off, and as you can see on the inside there, the coil is maybe you can't really see that. It is kind of hard to see. There's a metal rim that sits angled down towards the inside, and then it drops down into a flat coil sitting on top of ceramic. Now, most vape pens have this coil that goes in a circle around a central pivot and then sits inside of a cup, so your concentrates can fall underneath that coil. This coil actually goes around, and I know my fingers aren't giving you that clear of a thing, but it's kind of hard for you to see in that light, unfortunately. But because that coil sits flatter to the ceramic, you actually burn off a lot more of your concentrate, and there's a lot less of a reclaim waste when you're trying to clean around the edge there. All right, so give me a moment. I'm gonna load up some bubblegum Kush. That's not quite the name, and I don't quite remember. It's bubblegum something. But I'm gonna give that a test in here. And so you just kind of scrape it off on the side and make sure that you push it down into the coil there, because like we said, it's flatter, so you do have to get it a little bit on top of the coil. Screw your edge down, or your edge, I'm sorry. Screw the cartridge back together there. And then just like the other pin, you drop that in and it magnetizes. And then this is the only time that you hold, and as you hold, you hit. Pardon me. So this is actually one of the better vape pens that we've had, except for a couple of noticeable flaws. We really dig how it smokes, but you can't put a water cover on top of this, so that's an unfortunate thing. And we like the water attachments that most of the other vape pens come with. As you saw, the light was white on the bottom instead of going through the red, yellow, and green combination. The sensor in here is, like I said, it's a smart sensor, so it totally recognized that I changed the chamber and gave you a completely different experience when it came to this. All right, so I've emptied that. So now check this out. As you can see, and I'll make sure that this gets moved in the light better, but that's a pile of brown herb that came out of the chamber, and the ashtray was completely empty before I did that. I wanted to make sure that it was empty before I did anything, so you could see that's what comes out. So your herb is completely used. There's almost nothing left, and yet you didn't smoke anything and actually inhale any carcinogens or any of the nasty tars that comes with actually burning a bowl. So that was something that was extremely nice about going with the dry herb attachment.